Hey everyone, you're listening to the Tea with Tanya podcast, and I'm your host, Tanya Ambrose. I'm a public health professional by day and your average tea-loving millennial and content creator by night. My goal for this podcast is to share public health stories, self-love and wellness tips, to educate and empower, and to promote positive living. This podcast is here to serve you. Join me in the tea tasting room to see what I have brewing for you. So hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Tea with Tanya podcast. And on today's episode, it's going to be a very special one for many reasons. This is my first episode of me having two guests at the same time. So that's a feat for the podcast. And one of my guests, she's been here before. I know you guys love her. And the other one, I'm very, very excited to have them. So yes, welcome to Michele and welcome to Anique. Welcome Anique to the Tea Tasting Room. It's your first time being on the Tea with Tanya podcast. So how are you?
Hey guys, I'm doing well. How are you? How's everybody?
I'm good, everybody's good. How are you, Nikema? Michele, how are you?
I'm good. I can't complain. I'm good.
So Anique, since you're new here, just tell the people a little bit about yourself, what you do, whatever you want to share with us. Tell us a little about yourself.
So my name is Anique Samuel. I am a immigration attorney. I live in New York City. And I actually have a YouTube channel. Me and my best friend, we have a YouTube channel. It's called The Breakdown Island Queens. You guys can always check that out. I'm sure Tanya will insert it somewhere.
Yes, I will. I'll definitely put it in the show notes.
So we just wanted to shout out my YouTube channel as well. Yeah, that's about it.
Michele, just for our new listeners, let them know a little bit about yourself.
So, of course, my name is Michele. It's called officially Michele on the social media platforms. And I am a part-time content creator and financial advisor and now newly student. So, yeah, that's basically...
You have a lot going on.
I do have a lot going on. I was just telling Tanya that.
Yes. All right, guys. So today's episode, like I say, is going to be a fun and an interesting one. I can't wait to hear some of the answers to these questions. But we're going to be talking about dating in our 30s and, relationships, all that jazz. Because, again, we are all women in our 30s. I can't believe I'm even saying that. But
I know.
We are going to talk about what it's like to date or be in a relationship, all these different things. Because, again, as millennials and as women of age, like I like to say, but Nikki is going to say, oh, I'm not old.
Not old.
But, so we're going to talk about that because I'm sure many of you can relate to the challenges of, trying to find the right one, especially that we are 30 and, we see some of our peers, married with children, so many different things. And we're out here trying to get into a career. So we are going to talk about that. The first question I do want to ask you guys, and anyone of you can go first, is what is the difference in dating in your 20s versus now dating in your 30s? What is the difference? Especially now that we live in the US. Well, I'm in the US, so it's Anique and Nikema is now in Trinidad and not in Antigua. So what is the difference between dating in your 20s and your 30s? And now your 30s. Take it away, Nikema. I see you smiling.
No, I'm gonna let Anique go first.
Why do I always have to go first?
Okay,
guys, look at it. I'm telling
talking.
You put the three of us together, guys, and it's a mess. All right, Anique, you go.
I'm always talking, but okay, I'll go. So dating in my 20s and dating in my 30s is a little bit different because I feel like I have grown into who I am as a woman. And believe it or not, guys, your 30s are like your 20s with money. Right? You have money to do, like you're well established in yourself. So I would say that's the difference between dating in my 20s and dating in my 30s. Right. I just feel like I have grown into, or I am continuing this journey of growth into the woman that I want to be. So so it's not great, but it's great on a personal level, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. What about you, Anique?
So for me, it's different because, one, I think I know more about what I want as a woman. Back then, I feel like I was just like, let me entertain this fool for a second. And now I am just like, I don't have time to waste. Do not waste my time. Okay?
Right.
I am very particular about my time. And if you're going to waste my time, it's going to just tick me off. So for me, it's all about growth and knowing what you want and what exactly it is you expect in a partner. I have a better understanding of that, where I want to go, things that I want to do, versus back then it was more like, okay, I kind of know I want this, I want that, but I'm not really what's the word? Steadfast on that. Yeah, sure about it. But now it's like, okay, this is what I want. So if this is not what you want as well, it's okay. You can go your way. Like, I'm not going to feel any type of way about it, you know?
Right. I feel like for me, like I was telling you guys earlier that, guys, I'm in a relationship. I've been for like forever now, but I was in a sense dating in my 20s, but for some reason, I think I was always in like a long-term relationship because I just like to be in a relationship. I don't know why. Yeah, that for some reason, that was just like, if I'm dating somebody, in my mind, the time in my early 20s, I'm going to date you guys, I'm going to get married. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was my mindset. Even now that I'm in a relationship, now that I'm in my 30s, I've now learned, I am blessed to have a nice young man. But at the same time, in your 20s, you're still learning about yourself. And, as Nikki Marino and Anique will come to know, I've made some decisions in the past that, Lord, we thank the Lord for growth. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And I've made some dumb decisions with men that to this day I regret, but something, I've moved on from that. So I feel like, now that I'm in my 30s now, I know who I am. Because even though I was in my 20s, I have a great guy, whatnot. I still felt lost. I was still finding myself. I was still in school, still trying to figure out career and these different things. So when I'm in my 30s, like Nikki was saying, there's more money. I'm out of school for now because I'm a professional student. I have to go back to school. But I feel like I'm knowing who I am now, and I know what I want to accept in a relationship. And if you're not gonna pull up, then it's just gonna be bye bye, and I'll be heartbroken for a few days and then on to the next. But so that's how I feel as far as dating in my 20s. But what are some of the pros and cons do you guys think it is of dating in your 30s? Because I know you said you know what you want now, but what are like some of the pros you think, especially as Caribbean woman? Because for me, living in the US, especially down south here in Atlanta, people like are 19, 20, 21, they're married and getting ready to have kids. And back where we're from, I've never seen anyone gotten married that young.
Yeah.
So and even when I was living in New Jersey, New York, that area, it still wasn't like a thing where you get married that young. So I think it's like, I moved down south in 2021, 2023, you're married, you're getting ready to have your first child, or you're on your second child, so that wasn't, to this day, sometimes I still like cringe because I'm like, well, aren't you too young? But then again, what is too young? So what do you guys think is like a pros or some of the pros when you're dating in your 30s compared to, your 20s, when you were much younger? Yeah.
Anique, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. So I think Nikima started it out good. Now we're in our 30s. We have money. We're a bit more established. We kind of have an idea of what direction we're going into. I know people, and there's nothing wrong. First of all, I don't want people to think that, first of all, you have to know everything that life has to offer. People change their minds. Sometimes you may like this type of person, and then you decide, you know what, that is no longer for me. So I think at this point, we have some understanding of what we want going forward, and we know how to, I don't really want to say like we know how to make that happen, because I feel like that is still not happening.
Okay, so to piggyback off of what Anique is saying, so I think the pros and cons of dating in your 30s, to me, the biggest con is men. I think the biggest issue that a lot of us have is the inconsistency that we are having with people that are our peers, people that are our age, people that are even older than us. Because obviously, when you're in your 30s, you're literally looking to date someone that is 36, 38, 40, depending on you as a person. Some people go older than that, but again, it just depends on what you like, right? And to me, that is the biggest con. So the biggest con for me as a young woman dating in her 30s is just men and the inconsistency, that's the ones that I have dated while I was in my 30s. But I think there's a big positive side to it. Based on what Anique was saying, you now know exactly what you want. And I think one of the positive or one of the pros to it, you become very direct. Like in your 20s, you're like, I have time, and it's not about the fact that there is, you're 30 and you need to rush into something, but you're more direct because now you're intentionally dating.
Yeah.
Dating for something. You're dating for a husband, to have kids, to have a family, to have a future. So I think you're a lot more direct, and you're not afraid to be direct if that's
I feel like
that's a pro to dating in your 30s.
And I feel like even to piggyback when you say, you're dating with intention, more or less, we also learn from our mistakes. Because, we're 20s, as you say, Annie, we can't have everything figured out. We're still, even in our early 30s.
Yeah, we're still figuring things out.
But back then, we didn't have much figured out. So I feel like now we can say, okay, in the past, I did that. Let me learn that lesson, and let me try now, as you say, be intentional with the people that I am trying to date. And as you say, you want to make sure that it's long term, that can end up in marriage, having children and stuff like that. But Nikema did mention age. We're all young professionals, in our career. For you guys, because like I said, I'm taking, and I'll give you guys a story of how me and my boo thing, how we met in a sense. But where do you guys in this day and age? Where do you find men? Like pandemic, besides the pandemic, because now you got to ask people, were you vaccine or not? Because if you're not vaccinated, but where do you guys find men today? Like, I mean, what do you guys do?
First of all, I want to say that I am not currently dating anybody, right? But
I feel like you're saying that to mean something, but go ahead.
I talk to people, whether it's people who hop into my inbox. If y'all have ever watched that YouTube video where I talk about people who hop into my inbox, and I have actually entertained people who have hopped into my inbox. I'm like, this person looks cool, so let me see what they have to say. So sometimes the people that I end up dating, they're ones that hops into my inbox.
It really goes down in the DM.
It really goes down in the DMs for real.
It don't be going down in my DMs. Oh my God! Like I wish.
A few times it went down in my DM.
Okay.
More times than I am willing to admit, but
so that's where you're meeting the guy.
So some of them I meet that way, and then others, like I've met people through other persons, like, I have a friend, and we kind of hit it off like that. But then, as we were saying.
So do you guys use like dating apps? Because I'm trying to remember some of the names, but do you guys the swipe right? I have
like OkCupid and stuff. I've tried OkCupid, and I've tried. There was another one. I don't remember the name.
While Anique thinks about what the other one is, I do not believe in dating apps. I think dating apps is a form that people, men and even women, use to hook up. So I've never been on a date. I've never tried it. And majority of my life has really been Caribbean based. So I personally just feel like that is not a thing in the Caribbean. I am with Anique. I am not dating anyone at this time. I am single. I do talk to people. I think there are people who seem to be interested, and we talk and stuff like that, but I'm not dating anyone in particular. For me, I haven't had any luxuries of people hopping in my DMs.
Girl, people be hopping in my DMs.
My interaction come from like if I'm out and that person probably would have been watching me for a long time, or if someone introduces me to a person as just like this is my friend, and then it may hit off that way. But yeah, or I've had one situation where I was in the gym and this guy ran me down to ask me to go out which I turned down because I thought that to be weird. Like,
right. So what do you guys? It's going down in the DMs with Anique, Mickey, meeting people out here. So what would you guys say? Like, what are you guys looking for in a man? Because again, we're getting older. We're trying to get things done. So what are you guys looking for in a partner? Put it that way.
You want me to go first? Because I can go first.
Yeah,
You already know.
Yeah,
I want a man who is intentional and he knows what he wants. Don't come here wasting my time, have all the talks in the world, and then when it's time to put your money, how you go? Put your money where your mouth there.
Put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah.
Yes.
When it's time to put it, put words to actions, your words and your actions aren't matching up. And I feel like that's the biggest turnoff for me. I think I'm a very laid back person. I am cool. I am, I think I am, some people would say I'm not approachable, but I think if you get to know me and we're on that level, we have gotten past that stage. So if what it is that you say, initially that's what you wanted and you no longer want it, tell me. Don't string me along and waste my time. So that's the biggest thing for me, knowing what you want, being intentional and actually putting your words and your actions and having them align. Someone who wants to build towards something, build towards a future. I don't think people really I don't know about people. Maybe I should say I don't know about people. Maybe I have this misconception. Are people just out here hooking up one behind the other, boom, 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 and gone? Like, is that the end goal here? Like, just as many people as possible? I mean, if you're into that, you're into that, but that's not what I'm into. And I know that's not what I'm selling. So I know if you're coming to me, you shouldn't be thinking that that's what I'm selling. So I hate when people come to me and they're like, oh, we want the same things. And then the actions, your actions just show me otherwise. And by no means am I saying, oh, we meet today and we're in a relationship tomorrow. Obviously, that takes time. Right. Sometimes you may think that this person is somebody that you like, and then you realize there are things about them that you're not willing to look past, or, there are things about them that you're not compatible. And it just doesn't work out. And that is okay too. But as long as we're being honest with each other that, hey, I have this going on and this is what I have to offer and this is what I want. What is it that you're looking for? Are you looking to settle down? Are you looking to just date? What is it that you want? What it is? I don't know if I'm allowed to curse on here, but I guess I should have asked first.
I mean, hey, do what you gotta do.
What it is, you can bleep that part out. But tell me what it is that you want. I just hate people, and I had this conversation with a guy not too long ago. I told him, like, I hate people wasting my time. You say you want this, this, and this, and then you turn around and say, oh, but I don't want that right now.
Yeah.
You thought I wanted it 50 years later?
Right. What about you, Nikima?
For me, I think I'm along the lines with Anique. I don't want to really repeat everything that she said, but for me, I think I just want someone that is going to be honest about what they want, essentially. I'm a very straightforward person, and I think when you are dating in your 30s, I think men need to also understand that they need to be a little bit more honest. Give us options. Let us know. Let us choose if we want to just sleep with you, if we don't want to have anything to do with you because you're not giving us what we want.
Right.
Or if it's a situation where you just want to be friends and because I like to friend zone. So the moment I realize that you're not I'm going to push you in that friend zone category. It's going to be there. You can think the world of things that you want to think, but I already know that, you would have been already done friend zone. But I think I'm along the lines with Anique. I feel like we can probably experience some of the same things. And some of the things that I have done, like I remember I was very direct. I was like, what is it? What's your intentions? Obviously, when you meet someone, I personally am not the type to just jump into a relationship very quickly. I like to take my time because I like to make sure, because when
so let me stop you right there. When you say take your time, so how long does it take before you start talking to, okay, hey, you know what, I'll do it. We're in a relationship. Like, what's the time frame? Because I feel like for me, anyway, go ahead. What's the time frame?
For me, I think it needs to be a good 3 months before I say. I'm not saying that it's gonna be like this with every person that I date, but I feel like if it's not clicking, it just depends on the
and you can feel it too. You can feel it.
Yeah, you can feel if the person is into you like that. And then I think why I prolong my dating is because there is something that's just not connecting with me. So I want to get to know you a little bit more before I'm just going to full blown out say, hey, we're exclusively in a relationship. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
I feel like for me, a funny story. For me, you got to be ambitious because I'm not going to be, I'm nobody's mother yet. We can all build and work together, but I'm not going to teach you how to treat 100%. Me. I mean, well,
I don't agree with that as well.
Let me rephrase that because you can tell someone how you want to be treated. So let me rephrase that. But I feel like you got to be ambitious. Now, I'm not saying, we're career-driven women, even if you don't have your, let's say, a college degree, whatever, but show me that, you're willing to put in the work to be something in this world. So, you got to be ambitious, sure. You got to be, a time ago, and I think still, you have to be faith-based. That was what I was looking for in somebody. You know what I'm saying? So, ambitious, faith-based. You got to pray a little bit. Sometimes, faith-based. Yeah, just sometimes, Pastor Tanya comes and I'm like, let's just randomly pray. So you got to be done with that. What else was I looking for? Yeah, you got to be educated. That's what, that's the exception to that.
Well, I feel like those things are like, I don't want anybody to think that we don't want like I think like those things
already there.
They're already.
But you see, for me, I think I'm speaking from my experience because for me, dating, as we call it, because back in Antigua, we didn't necessarily call it. Well, I didn't call it dating because I wasn't going anywhere to meet anybody like that anyhow. But for me, I had to be selective in a sense because of. I had to be selective with who I did it because, I just didn't know if people were like dating me or like me for me or they were liking me for the family that I come from, that way.
Yeah.
So I had to be very cautious. Then, I gave this one person a try and, it ended up, I'm dating XYZ daughter. It was just a thing. And then, long story short, obviously we didn't make it because it was just not going to work. But then with my current, I guess, boyfriend now, because at this point,
your current lover.
Right. We met. I mean, it's somebody that I knew from the same village that we grew up in the same village or from the same village, but we started talking via Facebook. So like you, Anique, it went down
in the DMs. Okay.
It went down in the DMs. It was from a random high that one morning, and we spoke consistently throughout the whole day. I'm like, I had class. I was still in nursing school. I had class, and still then I was still skeptical. As to I'm like, I don't know if you want like one of your other friends trying to as you say, get something, whatever it was. Well, it turned out he was a decent guy, and there's he's still there. But there's still things. I guess we'll talk about that later on in a relationship that you still grow. Because again, for me, I was in my mid-20s, so I was still learning about myself. I just gotta make sure that you're loyal, you're ambitious. I just say you're straight up because I have time. Let me know. You want money, you want let me know what's going on so I can make up my mind. So I can, let me not get my feelings too attached.
Mm-hmm.
To you. And I feel like that's what many of us want. Like as Anique said, don't waste my time. I don't have the time to waste.
Yeah, but then sometimes we allow people to waste our time. Because I know I have in the past allowed someone to waste my time because I felt like, you want to give chances, and I have a personality of giving people the benefit of the doubt. So when you have that personality, sometimes it's good in some instances if the person is genuine, but if that person is not genuine, they will sometimes just play you and waste your time.
Yeah, that is true, and we don't have time to waste. So what do you guys like since we're on this topic there, what is your love language? Because I feel like that's a thing now. You got to ask people too. Besides these days, do you take the vaccine? But, what is your love language? Let me know if I can cater.
What is with you in this vaccine?
Look, I'm just out here because we got to make sure that it mask on, mask off,
I'm
whatever it is.
actually not
But I feel
planning, y'all, asking people if they took the vaccine because I wasn't really planning to ask people if I think that's like a personal thing. Like, I'm not
Yeah,
going to
I don't.
force
I'm like,
somebody to take the vaccine.
Yeah, I feel like I don't want to
That's just
ask someone if
me.
they took the vaccine. It's not my business if you took it or not. If she's asking her boyfriend right now, I'm pretty sure he took it.
he did. He had no choice.
Exactly.
But like, what are you guys' love language? Because I feel like no, we have to be. I think we should, especially at this age, be more upfront with asking or letting people know what is it that, again, like we said, we want from them, and this is my love language. I guess I guess this conversation can happen, as Nikki will say, I guess 3 months down the line. You can vibe and see how things are. So, but what do you guys think is your love language, if you don't mind sharing?
What do you mean by what your love language? First
Like
of
what do you need your
You've
partner
never
to
done
do
the
for
love
you?
language quiz?
no, I don't think so.
Okay,
Really?
so
I think I'm sure you have.
I don't
Okay,
think
Nikki,
so.
explain to her.
okay, so I have done that love language quiz many times, and I think my love language is really just spending time with the person that I am with. I'm not a clingy person or anything like that, and I don't like clingy men.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be clingy, we're not gonna work out. But I think my love language is really spending time with the person that I love and communication. I don't know if that's a love language per se, but I love to
Right.
communicate. I love to know what you're thinking. I love to talk in general. So us having that communication and us just being friends, I think
Yes, that's
friends
very
first is
important.
very important to me. I should be able to feel comfortable to go to you and tell you anything. I think that those along those things, if you can give me those things, I think we would have a pretty decent relationship.
Good relationship. Right.
Just because those are the things that I really like. I want to spend time with my person, not clingy time, but quality time. If that makes sense.
Right. And sometimes, when you're in a relationship, you should be able to enjoy your own company still. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
and I
Like,
love my
Right.
yeah, you want
company.
to,
Me
yeah, you
too.
want to spend time. You want your quality time. All that is good, and you will get that. But it's very important that you can spend time with yourself. Sometimes I feel like that's why some relationship fails sometimes because you want to be under that person every single day. And it's like, when do you breathe? When do you get
Mm-hmm.
a chance for yourself to actually, check in with yourself? So I feel like, that's important. For me, as far as love language, words of affirmation sometimes. What's the other thing? Acts of service. Because, if you're going to cook for me, do all that. I
Yeah.
mean, come on now. That's just going to be, if you're going to clean, that's like a plus right there. As Nikki would have said, good communications. Because I think that's what me and my boyfriend would happen in the beginning. Nowadays sometimes it's just like, Tanya, who are you? You're working with us, but you have to have good communications because, as you got to be friends first. I
Yeah.
will say that, as the friend here in the relationship, you got to be friends. Because if you don't like the person that you're dating, how are you gonna say, oh, I love you or this that? You have to like. I feel like for me, because if I don't like it, then I mean, why are we here?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
You
Yeah.
have to be funny too. Like you have to have like a sense of humor. So
Yeah. Oh, yes,
we have to be
yes.
able to can crack jokes and just naturally, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
those are the things that I kind of look for in a person. Words of affirmation, I don't think I need that. But I don't
Right.
know if as I get older that would be something because I was told that your love languages changes with
Change.
time.
Yeah.
It changes based on who you're with, how they treat you, what you
Yeah.
want from them. But that's basically
I feel like for me growing up, I saw how my dad treated my mom. So I was looking, this is going to sound so weird, but I was looking for my dad in
Men.
some of the men that I was
Yeah.
dating.
Mm-hmm.
not
Because
weird.
you know what I'm saying? Because if I'm seeing him treating her like a queen, why am I out here? He treat all his daughters, when he has all girls, like a queen. Like, why are we out here? Why am I out here? I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I've made some
Captain
dumb
left.
decisions with men.
Mm-hmm.
And when I think, I'm like, Tanya, why would you even entertain? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
are you crazy? Why would you even entertain that person in the first place? Because again, this is what you're used to seeing. So I always, someone once told me, oh, that's weird. Why would you want to date your father? I said, I'm not dating my father. I'm just saying, if I'm seeing how my mom got treated and vice versa, I want to treat like a queen too.
Yeah.
You're not gonna come here and think you can treat me, any other way. So I just thought I put that out there, people, because you got to make sure you're not accepting crappy treatment from some of these men.
Yeah, but it's one thing. I think one of the reasons why I am single is because I am not settling. I've made that a thing. Like, I'm sorry if I'm gonna be single until I'm 40, then hey, I'm ready. Because for me too, there is something that my mind, unlike other people, my mind does not allow me to. I will never feel comfortable. It wouldn't sit with my soul. It wouldn't sit with my heart. I would just feel like I'm settling. And because I know I'm settling, it's just not going to settle with me. So even if I want to settle with a particular person, my mind and my heart is not going to allow me to do that. I may do it for a month or two, but then I'll be like,
but you already know you're gonna keep it moving, because I feel like at some point you're gonna realize, you know what, Anique or Nikima, this is not even what I want. What am I doing here? Why am I here? Why am I entertaining this? Why am I prolonging this? Because it takes two, I feel like sometimes we get played because we allow ourselves to be in those positions or situations that we shouldn't even be in. And I'm not saying this is always the case, but I feel like sometimes we do know going in that this person don't have no good intentions. I know for a fact that I've been there. Like, I already know, like, this person is just like, you don't have no good intentions, but let me see, maybe, like an idiot.
No, I agree with you. And I do think when you're in your 30s, I think that's where accountability comes in. I think as a young person, my advice for any young person that's listening is to self-reflect a lot. That's something that I do very often, because I think you need to know the things that you are doing as a person, because it's not only about the men.
Yeah.
Men may, it's, in my situation, I'm perfect. I'm just saying. But it may be a situation where sometimes you as a person, you have a lot of growth to do.
Yeah.
Maybe you're very dependent. Maybe you're a very clingy person and you did not even know. Maybe you attach quickly and that's a turn off. So there is just a lot of things sometimes that we as women, we do. And we're saying why we're not finding this person, why we're not doing this, why we're not doing that. But there's a lot of things that we ourselves need to work on before we even enter into a relationship. And I think a lot of times we're not fully whole. That's why sometimes situations just don't work out.
And to piggyback from you as well, when you say sometimes people are looking for a partner to make them complete.
Yeah.
And sometimes that phrase, happiness comes from within. You have to find your own happiness. You have to find yourself. Again, none of us are perfect. We're still evolving. We're still learning about ourselves each day.
Yeah.
But I feel like as Nikki would have said, some people, they go into a relationship to find themselves or to have the other person complete them. And when it doesn't happen now, it adds more stress, and then it adds more issues, and then it doesn't work out because, again, you didn't know who you were. Again, we're still learning about ourselves, but you didn't have an idea of what you wanted or who you are.
Yeah.
So that now you're trying to, so you should never go into a relationship trying to have somebody complete you or make you whole. I just personally feel like it's not gonna, and I had to learn that too. It's not gonna work out. But you just have to find yourself and do a lot of self-reflection to find out what is it that I can improve upon. Is the person really the issue? Is it me? Because sometimes it's us, as you say. Sometimes we have our problem. Are we trying to blame it on the other person?
Yeah, sometimes I can't sit down in this podcast and say that women are not the problem. Sometimes we are the problem. And as Anique said, sometimes we see the red flag. Sometimes we see it big. The big period is in our face.
And we look past it.
We look past it. It's so huge. And some weird reason, I don't know how we just be looking past that period because it's so big, but we seem to find a way to look past this particular period because we like this person. Or it could also be that we think that is the time, we're getting older, we should just settle. And, that's just something that I feel like a lot, I see it sometimes that, a lot of people are settling, and even people come to us and be like, why are you single?
Exactly. I
What is
hate that
wrong with
question.
you? Something wrong with
Right,
you?
right.
And I'm looking at them like, is something wrong with you?
And, yeah, and it's usually the ones that are settling and not even happy. But then,
Right.
you want to be so concerned with why somebody's single. We're out here working, going in our careers, trying to make sure that we are okay before we enter into a relationship with someone. Again, of
And
course,
that's
we
another
can get
thing
together and we
too.
can build.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Now that you speak about growing in your career and being a young professional, I think you have to also meet someone that is going to allow you to grow as
Yeah.
That's a word right
because
there.
sometimes you meet people that they keep you back.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of hold you
That is
back.
true.
So you also have to meet someone that is understanding that, hey, I can't talk every minute of the day. I'm working, or not because we don't speak every minute of the day means that I don't love you, or means that I don't
I'm
want to
not
talk
into
to you,
you type
that
thing.
I'm not
Yeah.
into you.
And that's a lesson I had to learn because most of my relationship was long distance. So in the beginning, you have time. In the lovey-dovey stage, you're talking almost every day around the clock. But then after a while, obviously you're back to work. I'm in school, whatever the case may be. And we weren't necessarily talking as often as I would like in the day. And that became an issue we had to address because again, I'm saying, oh, you're in Antigua, I'm here. We need to be talking around the clock. But you're at work, I'm at school. And like he would say, I need to focus on my schoolwork. It's not like I'm going anywhere.
Yeah.
Man, they say,
Mm-mm.
he's still here, so
He
let's not.
was confident though. He was confident. He knew
But
it wasn't going nowhere.
but right, it's a situation where we have to understand, like you guys said, we don't need to talk around the clock for us to know that we love each other. But we're not going to go a day and not talk. I'm gonna tell you that right now. You can at least send me a text. Or you can call me. Hey, a 5-minute call because I'm
That's
kind of
more
moody
like a
sometimes.
check-in. Yeah.
Right, just checking. You're not gonna go a full 24 hours and not say, "Hey, how are you?" or "Hey, what's up?" Who are you dating? It can't be me because okay, not dating, but who are you in a relationship with? If you are 24 hours gone by, isn't that not crossing your mind? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no,
I'm
I
like,
understand what you're saying. I understand. I don't
So I
necessarily feel like I need to talk to you every day, but I understand feeling like, wait, I haven't heard from
I
you
didn't cross
all
your mind,
day.
right?
Like, wait,
yeah.
that kind of way. And I'm the type of person I will check in. I check in not only on somebody that I'm dating, I check in on friends. Hey, how are you? How is it going? You just
Right,
ran on my mind type thing. So I feel like somebody who you're intimate with or somebody you're involved with or you're interested in.
right,
I'm not saying to have this whole, oh, we have to talk on the phone every day. I'm not really a talk on the phone person. And when you really think about
right.
it, when do we have the time? We don't really have the time as much as we probably. I feel like back in the day, I had all the time in the world. Now I feel like when I
But
come home,
no,
I don't
right.
want to talk to anybody. I want to stare at my TV and just chill, you know?
No, I feel that. I feel that.
So I'm not opposed to sending a text and saying, hey, how are you? You ran on my mind, blah, 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 blah. But I'm also not steadfast where, like you, Tanya, where, listen, I need to hear from you at least
Yeah, but
once a
again, that was
day.
when that
No,
was
but
like me being in,
I
in
think
my
when you're
20s now.
I
Go
think
ahead,
when
Nikki,
you're
man.
doing long distance though,
Well, that's true too.
it's hard because I think if you don't speak every day, there is a lapse in you don't even know if the person is dead or alive, or
Okay.
like I just feel like when you're doing long distance though, you should at least have a conversation. Hey babe, how are
Yeah.
you? You're good? I'm good. It may not be constant talking back and forth, but
Yeah.
at least
Yeah, but even
that
at end of day check in, something at least we know, hey, I'm still breathing,
Checking
that kind
in.
of thing.
Yeah.
right.
But I want to shift the conversation just a tad bit and ask if you guys think, even though we're talking about dating in our 30s, do you guys think you could have been married with kids in your 20s?
No.
If the right person came along and, oh, Anique, oh, Anique,
No.
I love you. Oh, wow, no, that's a strong one from Anique. What about you, Nikki?
That's a firm no from me. I think I need.
Why? I'm curious.
The reason why is I feel like for me, my likes and my dislikes have changed over the years.
Okay.
And I think even dating and getting to know people, I realized that I don't like this type of behavior and I don't want to tolerate that type of behavior. What's going to happen if I ended up in a whole marriage and I realize, wait, this man is a whole, and I mean, it can happen anyhow. You can know somebody for 20 years, get married, and you're all married for 40 years, and then you're all divorced same way, you know? So I really don't try to put a time barrier on anything. But at the same time, I feel like my 20s, I wanted to experience life. I'm not saying you can't experience it with a lover or somebody, whatever, because, you know, I've had classmates from undergrad who marry basically their high school sweetheart. They have children together and they're still going strong. And then I have the opposite of those type of people who are my friends, and you know,
like me.
and me. But you know, I mean, like you meet this person, and I, you know, I've also met people. I was just saying to a friend of mine today, you know, I've met this girl years ago, and she decided, oh, I'm not going to leave when we were applying for law school and stuff. I'm not going to leave New York. Because I only applied to all schools outside of New York. Right? There was nothing tying me down, but she had a boyfriend and she didn't want to leave because of that. And today she's not even in that relationship. So I find it like, why are we tying ourselves? Like, I feel like if it's meant to be, it will be. And you should, I don't want to say you shouldn't rush into things, because what can happen for me in a minute may take a while for you, and vice versa. But at the same time, I don't think Anique in her 20s is not the Anique right now. So I don't think that Anique in her 20s was ready to settle down and get married and be nobody's mother. Anique in her 20s wanted to do her own thing. She wanted to experience life. I went and studied abroad. I didn't have to worry about no child at home, no boyfriend, no man, no husband, nothing. You know, I did what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. And not saying being in a relationship, you can't do those things, but I do think you have to take into consideration all of those things while you're doing it.
Well, for me, I'll tell you that because, you know, I'm getting ready to go to grad school and I've applied to schools outside of Georgia here. I'm just, you know, I was supposed to be technically living in Rwanda right now in Africa.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm in a relationship, but I wasn't going to let a relationship stop me from living my dream. You know, I guess in a sense, it comes down to the foundation you would have built in your relationship at first. So, you know, like, and I guess for us, you know, we were long distance for most of it. So it's just like, you know, me going long distance again, you know, it was going to be doable. You know, he's going to support my dream. Of course, you know, you want to take whatever it is into consideration, but I'm at the point right now, if I need to go to Africa, I'm going to go to Africa. I mean, you can come and visit. If I need to move back to New York or go to, you know, wherever I'm going to go, you know, you will weigh the pros and cons. Can you transfer to come to work, or is it going to be long distance and we'll just figure out we're going to come every other weekend? You know, I guess, again, it depends on the partner that you have and the foundation that you would have had or set in your relationship. Because, again, no man is going to stop me from living my dreams. You know, I feel like I spent my 20s, you know, going through my failing into nursing school, whatever. So I'm living now. So, I mean, you know, not to sound bad, I mean, I do care, but I'm going to be living my life. You're either going to come, you're either going to support, or it's just going to be, okay, well, I'm not going to stop.
And I think that's important in any relationship. I think that you have to have someone who's very supportive of whatever it is that you decide to do. Dating in your 30s is, I will tell anybody, it's still the ghetto.
It is the ghetto.
I said this in my video, but it is the ghetto. It is ratchet. It is annoying. But one thing I will tell anybody, and I have to agree with Anique, I think for me, you know, in my 20s, I've matured so much since I turned 30, that the things that would satisfy me in my 20s, it doesn't satisfy me in my 30s. And I'm so different in my entire life. It's like a transformation. It's not only with like man and woman type of relationships, but just relationships on a whole. I'm just general, just so different as a person. I've learned so much, and you know, you continue to learn as you go along, and again, you're going to continue to change as a person, and whoever you meet have to be able to adapt. My philosophy is I need to be my own person on my own, and I need to be my person in my relationship, and I want my partner to be his own person on his own. And then when we come together, the union, like I don't want no half person coming and insecurities and all of that. In me and myself, I don't want to enter a relationship insecure. Yeah. So I think there's not a lot of cons to me in your 30s. It's just the pool of men is very limited. But there's a lot of pros to being in your 30s, because by the time you hit 30, you should be a lot more mature than you were in your 20s. You should be looking to some stability in your life. And stability doesn't come with being married. Stability comes with just being able to can support yourself in any way, shape, or form, emotionally, physically, just doing things for yourself, by yourself, and just learning yourself as a woman. Because if I don't know who I am as a woman, how do I expect my partner to understand who I am? How am I going to tell him, babes, listen, I don't like this.
Yeah.
I have to love
this,
you.
and this is what I like. Yeah. I am not going to be like, maybe, and no, I think when you're very unsure, people also take that opportunity to take advantage of you as a person. So dating in your 30s is I will tell anybody, it is horrible. I am not looking.
I have stories.
I have stories. Like, if I could sit here and tell you all my stories, I would. But the time does not permit me to. But I would tell anybody. It's hard, but on an individual level, it's good. It's growth. It's just a different level. It's just a different feeling.
Right.
So
I want to ask you. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm finished.
I was saying, as we get ready to wrap up, because I know Anique have to go and all that stuff, I do want to ask you guys, and as you answer that question, also leave some tips for those who are listening, even people who are in their 20s coming up, because this can apply to them too. Because, guys, you don't have to have everything figured out. Even though we're in our 30s, we're not going to have everything figured out either, but we just have an idea. We were able to learn from the lessons from our 20s that we know we're not going to make certain mistakes. And here I am talking, but I just made a mistake 2 weeks ago. But you know what? That's fine.
It happens. And I think it's all a learning experience, That's what I think. That's what it is. And by no means are we trying to say we're relationship gurus. We know the world. Oh, no. And by the way, you already see how them social media relationships going. So them ones that, acting like, and I remember I messaged one of my friends and I said,
they be sitting in their car seat saying XYZ, and next thing you look, okay, that's not a mistake from the day you.
Is that another podcast? But I feel like, why put on a show acting like if there's nothing wrong with going through what you're going through. We all go through what we go through. Nobody's perfect. We make mistakes, both men and women. So I'm not trying to sit here and be like a man basher, old man or this and man or that. Right. But at the same time, going back to, what did you say? You wanted like pointers? Like, for me,
because I was gonna say, what is I will ask a question and then you can go. What is the biggest lesson you guys learned in your 30s? And I know we're not like way into our 30s, but what is the biggest lesson that you learned? And then when you do answer that, just let the audience know, I guess when you're answering, what they can do to navigate their 30s, especially if you're a single person. And then I have one more question to ask. But you can answer that one.
You can ask.
Like, what is the biggest lesson you learned? Okay.
Yeah. I need
go. And then the other question. Yeah, go ahead. You can answer. What is the biggest lesson you learned in your 30s, and how can the listening audience, from I guess your experience, how can we navigate trying to date and settle down or do whatever as they approach their 30s or as they're in their 30s? Because again, everything's not going to be figured out right away either.
I think the biggest lesson that I have learned is being intentional and telling people and being more direct. I think I'm a very direct person, but I think sometimes like Nikema, I give people the benefit of a doubt. If you're going to tell me this is what it is, I'm going to think this is what it is until you give me a reason to think otherwise, right? And if I feel like men, obviously because I'm dating men, if a man knows this is not what he wants or he's not looking for something serious, tell me so. Just be direct.
Like, just say it, right?
Just say it. I may be down for that. I may say, I'm not looking for anything serious from you either. You just
Right.
may never know. But do not waste
It opens
my
the
time. I
dialogue,
think
right?
so. For me, the biggest thing is about being direct and also having an understanding of who I am, coming together as as Nikki mentioned earlier about being my own person before I want to put myself with somebody else, figuring out the things what I like, not I like it because this person like it or my partner is interested in this, so let me go read up on this. Being my own person. I'm not saying I can't be interested in things that he's interested in, and I could be genuinely interested in them, but at the same time, outside of him, because I think I see in a lot of relationships, these people, they can't stand on their own 2 feet. They don't know themselves outside of that relationship. Oh, babe, 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 babe. So just be yourself. You can be Tanya, you can be Nikima. I can be myself outside of me being married or me being a mom or me being in a relationship, those type of things. So I think those are some of the things that I have been learning and I'm continuing to learn about myself and coming into myself, knowing more about what I want, where I want my life to go outside of, yeah, do I want a relationship? Yes, at some point, but that's not the end all and be all. So that's why I kind of get annoyed when people are like, oh, you don't have a man yet, you don't have a man yet. How about you ask me how my day is, how's work, how is life, how is my career? What do you have going on? Do you plan on doing these things, X, Y, Z? How about me asking about me? Why do I have to be me and this person? So I think that's one of the things that I have come to understand. And I guess it's the way society has been built over the years as well too. It's, you grow up and you're just expected to go out, you get the career, you get the husband, you get the house and the children, and you have there's these expectations that society in general kind of like impress on us, like this is just what is expected, and people don't get the chance to really know who they are outside of that. So I think that has been one of the biggest lessons that I'm learning and I'm continuing to learn.
What about you, Nikima?
For me, it's gonna sound like Anique's answer, but I hope it's a little bit different. But for me, since I've been dating in my 30s, I have learned that I am hard on myself. I've learned that my insecurities are not serious. I've also learned that I wasn't as confident as I thought I was. And it showed in how I spoke about myself to a man. I've learned to grow as a young woman and really grow, and not the surface level type of growing. Just really go into knowing exactly what I want and exactly what I don't want and what I can tolerate and what I will not tolerate. I've learned so much within the past 2 years of my life. It's crazy, but I've also learned that you need to love yourself and love on yourself.
That's a big one.
That's something that I did not realize that I wasn't even doing in my life. My advice to anyone that's listening, and even in your 20s, don't try to be like everyone else. So when I say that, I say, when you hit your 30s, everybody's getting married, your friends are having kids, and that's something that I think, as Anique would have said, people, once your friends start having kids, especially people that are close to you, people are going to come to you and be like, what's wrong with you? Why aren't you dating? What's happening? Because even your parents, because my mom, she's dying for a grandkid from me. But the good thing about my mom, she also doesn't pressure me as much. And what I would want anyone to take away from this is dating in your 30s is not, it's the ghetto. I have a ghetto in a nice, annoying. But I will tell anyone that even young people in their 20s, love yourself first. Put yourself first at any cost. When you see red flags like possession, obsession, abuse, anything of that sort, get out, because sometimes we see these things and we don't want to leave. We think it's cute. I've been there. I've never had anybody pants on me or anything, but I have been in situations where I thought, oh, this is kind of cute.
Right.
You know? And I would just let any young woman, even young men know that love yourself first. Do what you want to do for yourself. As Anique said, be very direct. That's something else that I got advice from my mentor, you know, and they were like, you need to be a little bit more direct. I thought I was direct because I'm very straightforward. But I realized when I like someone, I'm not as direct as
I think we tend to overlook certain things when you like somebody, and especially when you really like, you don't even realize you need to be direct because you overlook that fact. You know?
Yes. So those are just some takeaways that I would want anybody that's listening to this podcast. And it's not easy dating in your 30s. Sometimes you're on your own, like me. I'm in a country by myself, no friends. And it's hard, but don't focus on it. Don't put too much energy on it. I'm not saying put no energy on it, because you still want someone, you still want to be open-minded, and just realize that courtship in your 30s is going to be a little bit longer than in your 20s, because the intention of that particular relationship it's for forever. It's to last a long time. So that would be, you know, those are just some of the things that I have been learning, and I'm still learning, and I'm still growing as a woman. And I think it's very important for women to grow too, because a lot of the times we're not growing. When you're single and in your 30s, now is the time for you to go back to school. Now is the time for you to start a business. Now is the time to start YouTube, podcasts, whatever it is on social media. If you are into social media, now is the time when you're single to do these things and to take advantage of the fact that you don't have a child, you don't have someone to spend extra time with, the time that you may need to invest in whatever craft that you are wanting to do, and just occupy your time and stop listening, block out the social media noise and the social media.
Heavy on the block out the noise.
Yeah.
And mind your business.
Well, if good things are happening to the people around you, you should be genuinely happy for them and gas them up and push them. But with all of that happening, your time is going to come at a particular time. It's just not with everybody else.
I feel like for me, just in general, I've learned to protect my boundaries or create boundaries.
Boundaries is very important when you're
very big.
I totally forgot about that. But you hit on
you have to create boundaries, because too many times, you know, like you said, we can get so giddy. Oh, this person like me, I'm feeling this person, but then we lose our senses, and then we don't realize that they're crossing a line with the things that they're saying. You know what I'm saying? So I did learn that, or I'm still learning that. I'm not gonna say I did learn, because I'm still learning. I'm still learning from the mistakes that I would have made, you know, in my 20s, and even in the my relationship. I won't really call them mistakes per se, but again, like I said, I was young in my mid-20s. You know, I was still coming to myself. So I'm learning from those mistakes and trying not to make them know that I'm getting older. And like Anique said, you know, be direct. Because before, like, I would be, oh, you know, I don't want to get you upset, or, you know, if I stick my mind, it's going to be an issue. You know, you're thinking about what the other person's going to say. Yeah, you're thinking about how the other person's going to react, and then you put yourself in a position now where you can't even be honest, because what you're worrying about how they're going to feel. And if they love you or they respect you, then they can respect what you're saying, and, you know, just try to change. Yeah. So I did learn that. What else did I learn? I think I wrote it down. And I'm getting to know myself even more. I'm not gonna say I fully know myself, but I know what I want, and I know what I won't tolerate anymore. Yeah. Because, you know, like I say, I can go, it's fine. You know what I'm saying? It can just be, hey, you know, it was nice knowing you, on to the next. Or, you know, as Queen Bee say, you know, you're irreplaceable. You know, but it's knowing yourself. I value my time now, so, you know, you gotta come correct. But guys, no, I'm the friend he that's in the relationship.
I think
Pretty
you
happy,
play a big
but
part in all of this, though, because although you're the ones, and the podcast is about single women and dating in your 30s, at least we see it from your point of view. I don't like when you play it down like I'm the one who's in a relationship, but I feel like what you have to add is still very valuable.
It's also important.
That is
so we
true.
get to see both sides of it,
Right.
So I think it's very good.
Well, yes, before we go, tell me 3 things that you guys absolutely love about being single.
3 things?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Anique,
okay, 1, 2, 3, whatever. She's Anique, have to go first.
I'm always going first, but I'll go first. I love just getting up and going. I love it. I feel like when you're in a relationship or you've seen somebody, it's always like a check-in moment. You have to really be like, and I guess it also depends on the relationship, the people, or whatever stage you set already in there. But I feel like if Nikki would say, oh, let's go to California tomorrow, I up and go to California tomorrow because I don't have anybody to really be like, oh, why are you going to California tomorrow? Or
see, the person and he goes, I understand because if Nikki said, let's go to Vegas tomorrow, I'm packing my bags. I'm going to say, hey,
pack your bags.
I'm going to Vegas. I'm going to Vegas with Nikki, and I'll see you in a few days. Or are you coming? It's either or. Because I can tell
you coming or you not.
So we're a package deal. So it's either you're gonna come or I'm gonna go. I'll talk to you when I get there. I'm not gonna. No.
Exactly.
So guys, nobody in your relationship they shouldn't be asking you. Or in my opinion, but again, everybody's relationship is different. Because I'm gonna say, hey, we're gonna to LA, whatever. It's okay. What day you going? Do you take you to the airport? That's the kind of dynamic that we have. And he's like, are you going to come or are you going to stay? And you can stay or are you going to come and stay in the room while we still go out? You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like that. But anyway, go ahead. Let me not cut you off.
What else do I love?
Ask us what we hate about being single, but hey.
we should go there. We should take it there too.
Yeah.
I think, but I'm also, which is something that I've been concerned about because I feel like I've been single for a while now. I've dated people, but I haven't been in a relationship, and I think that's a very big thing. So, will I know how to
be in a relationship
when it's time to be in a relationship? Because I have been single for such a long time. But I also do think though that if the right person comes along, I will know how to adapt to that. And it will be a learning thing. I'll understand that, hey, there are certain things that, okay, I'll have to communicate better. Like I'm just used to just getting up and going, but maybe in a relationship, you would be like, hey, I'm going wherever. Or even if you're not like that with your partner, it's just certain things that I'll have to adjust a bit. But I think if it's the right person, I will adjust a little bit better versus if it's somebody who I'm trying to really make it work and it's not, I know I probably shouldn't even be there. We're probably just going to always be button heads because I don't think I need to do this because I don't really like you like that. I think we know when we're really into somebody versus when we're just, which is why my biggest thing about being upfront and straightforward, like, don't string me along. That's
right.
I feel like that's just the moral of my story. Just don't string me along.
What about you? Those two. So you said, what did you say?
My freedom. Like I was big on the freedom. I
not knowing. Because you said you didn't know. You had a fear of not knowing how to be in a relationship. So it's like you kind of like being alone.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you like being alone, you enjoy it.
I enjoy my own company.
So that's the third one?
Yes. I enjoy my own company. I'm very big on that. So I feel like if you're going to invade my space, you have to be somebody really special.
I tell you that. Somebody can invade your space, but you can still enjoy your own company, even with the person. Because, I'm telling you, I love me some alone time.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
So I'm big on alone time.
Have that, but, again, it depends on what stage you are in it. Because in the beginning, of course, you gotta figure out each other. But yeah. All right, Nikki, you.
Oh my God, I hate that. I'm not liking this.
Look, you had enough time to think of your answer
I was
while
thinking
Anique
of
was
listening to
talking.
Anique. Okay, so
3 things you enjoy about being single.
what do I enjoy about being single? I enjoy my freedom, of course, because I have no attachments. I although I'm loyal by default. So if I start talking to you and I like you, it's like he's mine.
Yeah.
So, but I still enjoy my freedom. Another thing that I like about single is just dating, just genuinely dating people, getting to know people in general.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't work out. It's very funny at times too, because it's like you're on a date and you're like, this is not it. And sometimes for me, I have a sense of humor, so I think that that's funny. So I kind of enjoy. I know it may sound twisted, but I kind of enjoy that. Like I would be in my car and I'll just be like, "That was a hot mess." But so that's something else that I enjoy dating. That's something that I enjoy. I enjoy getting to know people. Another thing that I don't know if I enjoy alone time, but for me, I'm enjoying it sometimes too much.
Exactly. So which makes me worry.
It kind of, it's not a good thing, but it's a good thing. But I do know I enjoy being by myself and I enjoy dating myself. That's something that I have been incorporating into my lifestyle. I take myself on lunch dates. I take myself to the spa to get my nails done by myself. And I know sometimes people are like, oh, you're in Trinidad by yourself. But I do have, my colleagues, if I want to go somewhere, do something, I can call them. Yeah. But I just enjoy being more independent and not having to depend on other people's company for fun. So those are just some things I enjoy being single. And yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, I'm sitting here trying to think the 3 things that I enjoy being in a relationship, and I can't even think of one because we're just weird people.
Yeah, but
what do you mean?
What do you mean?
We're not weird in a bad way, but for me, like, we can be together, like we are together, but then we are still our own individual people. Like we could be in the same house, and I'm in a different room, we're in a different room, and it's like I'm loving and enjoying my time, watching my TV, catching up on my shows. You go play your game. It doesn't bother me. Because there's some people they'll be like, oh, come and spend time.
No, and I'm like the type of person. I'll text you in the living room, like, hey, what you doing?
Girl, okay, so I'm sending voice note.
Exactly.
Okay? So I'm like, I'm out here. So I'm like content with me watching. Again, it could be because we've been together for so long. I don't know. I can't remember the early years, but it's like I just like the fact that we can be in each other's presence, but still be our own separate people. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
We can be in the same room, but we can still be our own and have our own time. So that's like the one thing I can think of. I do like the fact that that's my neck and cook and clean and change my car tire if I need to, take my car to service.
Of course.
I do that myself, but
about being single, there's so much cons about being single. Like you have to doing literally everything yourself, which is not a good thing because it's like it would be nice to have someone there, even like when you're sick. Because for me, I don't have a roommate or anything. So for me, it's like, oh my God, it would be so nice if I could just have my person here and he's helping me and he's
and I just like knowing that I have somebody I can depend on no matter what it is that I'm going through or whatever I need, that person is there. So I think that's what I like. Guys, it's not a bad thing being in a relationship, but again,
I don't think relationships. No, I to be honest, I can't wait. I'm actually excited for my next relationship because I feel like I'm gonna be bringing so much goodness to it. So I'm actually very excited for my next relationship. Believe it or not, I'm just like I'm ready.
Well, listen, if you're out there and you're looking for someone, I'm gonna put Michelle.
No. I'm also very picky. Can I ask Anique? I'm a picky woman.
All right, guys. Well, what you guys heard here was a I don't even know, a candid, crazy conversation between three crazy Caribbean island girls, people that I love and admire. And, we were just talking about dating in our 30s. And I do hope that what we said here today, which I know you guys will take and apply it to yourself. And, to recap what Nikki would have said, do a lot of self reflection, before you enter a relationship or even while you're dating. Try to make sure that this is what you want. Like Anique said, try to be direct, be upfront in the beginning, because you don't want to, wait until things, get too seasoned, and then, you're like, okay, who's this person, or why am I here? Or I should like to say, don't string me along. So, we got to try to make sure that we are doing some self-evaluation, being direct. And of course, again, we're not saying that you should have everything figured out in your 30s, but, life is better over here, in the three of us and the three, it's not a bad thing.
I was telling a young person, I was like, they're like, oh, you're 30, you're getting old, you're not going to have a child, you're not going to do that. And I'm like, listen, I can buy whatever I want.
Go wherever I want.
I can go wherever I want. And let me tell you, the 30s is the new 20s. But you just have loads of money and you can just do whatever. Like, you're not dependent on your parents anymore. It's so liberating, being in your 30s. So, and my sister told me that, but until I got to 30, I didn't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same here. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so old. But then I'm like, I'm learning. I'm free now. I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm genuinely at peace, but I'm getting there, and I'm learning to actually, stand in my truth and be who I am.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, we continue to learn every day, but at least we're doing it better. But I do want to thank you guys for coming on the podcast. Before we go, let us know where we can find you. Of course, I'll put it in the show notes, but let us know where we can find you on Instagram, YouTube, all that jazz. And, Nikki, you've been going first all day.
Anique been going first all day.
I've been going first all day. So we're going to have Nikki tell us where we can find her, where we can subscribe, all that stuff.
All right. So I know she's calling me Nikima, but my name is also Michele. And you can find me on YouTube at officially Michele. And you can also find me on Instagram at It's Officially Michele. You can reach out to me on Instagram. I know sometimes I just need to make this thing. I know sometimes people don't want to reach out to me in my DMs and stuff, but please reach out to me if you have any questions or even anything that you want me to speak about, even on my YouTube channel. Just let me know. Don't be afraid, because I'm getting a lot of third parties coming to me for people that are actually on my profiles and that they follow.
Really?
So I kind of just want to let you guys know, hey, I'm a cool person. You can contact me. So those are the places that you can find me, on Instagram and on YouTube. And it's just basically officially Michele with 1 L.
Anique, where can they find you? And of course, I know you have a new page.
She does have a new page.
Make sure you put that. You're gonna be helping
about
a lot of people.
So
so go ahead. Tell us what we can.
So first of all, my new page is my immigration attorney page. I look at it as my professional page. My intention there is to promote the work that I do, as well as build up my own clientele. People have already been asking me questions. A few friends referred persons to me. So I've already been interacting with persons. But the whole point of the page was to more or less give people an insight into what I do. I love immigration. This is something that I was exposed to during law school. And I participated in like a clinic, and we had our own clients and all of that. And after law school, I had a genuine interest in it, because I didn't go into law school thinking that I was going to do immigration anyway, Yeah. So I've been meaning to create this page for a while now. And I said, I keep telling myself, this is another thing that I'm learning. Yes, you should prepare to do things, but stop trying to wait until you're ready, because that moment may never come. So the night when I created the page, I was like, you know what? I'm going to just create this page, because me saying, oh, when I get this done and I get that done, it's not happening. So maybe if I do this, this is going to push me towards actually putting what I have planned into action. So I decided to just jump right into that. So you can contact me on Attorney Anique on Instagram. You can also contact me on my personal page. It was really a play on my name, so I can't even really say it. It's Anique, but it's AH_NEESQ. It was a play of Anique and Esquire. I was really just messing around with it. So I don't know. That's what I was going for. You can also contact me. Me and my best friend, we have a YouTube channel as well as an Instagram page. It's called The Breakdown _IQ, which stands for Island Queens. We talk about basically everything on there as well. So you can contact us on there. You can check out our YouTube page. We have a bunch of videos on there as well. And we do intend to get back on that. I know the keep is about to be like, but, we're going to get back on that. I am in the process of working on that. We're both in the process of working on that. So you can contact us there.
I can't wait.
And I'll be sure to put those in the show notes. I want to say thank you guys again for taking the time out of your busy day to sit and chat with me. Because I know when Nikki and I get together, we can be here until tomorrow. I know when you and Nikki may get together, we can be here. You guys can be there until tomorrow. So I'm kind of happy,
I am the
we
problem.
Just be chatting. We just be chatting away.
I'm kind of happy. I'm kind of happy that the time we kind of beat the time that I estimated in my mind. So I am happy for that. So I honestly want to thank you guys for coming on. This is my first time having 2 guests on my podcast. So thank you for that. And that's all I have.
Thank you for inviting me. I really enjoyed this.
I won't be back, guys, for a long time.
So you can say what you want, but thank you. I want to thank you guys for listening, tuning in. Of course, if you're listening on Apple Podcast, be sure to like, rate, and guys, leave a comment. If you listen to an episode and you like it, just leave a comment. So you can just boost the girl up in the ranking. But that's all I have for today, and I'll see you guys next week in the tea tasting.